Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Half a Clue Television Review.
Hey, welcome back.
Of course, I'm Blake, and I'm joined by...
Ron, hey, how you doing?
Hi, Ron.
Miles, right here.
Who are you?
And Philip. Unfortunately, today, what's it called?
Jason.
Yeah, Jason wasn't there for personal matters. We miss you, Jason. I dream about you. Every time I go to bed, I take a shit or I pee, I think about you, Jason. So please
Jason's
come
out
back.
there hunting his next victim, you can say.
Yeah, he's hunting for a better show.
On this week.
I'm
He
don't
liked,
care.
by the way,
watch
just want to
HBO.
point it out, he liked this season. He's not here to say it, but he did.
Yeah, despite me shitting on this season, I actually like it, but especially considering the context of the later seasons.
Anyways, we should introduce what we're talking about. This week, we're covering Season 3 of Dexter, the divisive season of Clyde Phillips' 4-season run. I think this is a lot of people's least favorite of at least the Clyde Phillips seasons.
Yeah.
But I actually really like this season. I should probably give a quick overview on this season of Dexter while still kind of dealing with the revelation that his foster father, Harry, killed himself. Dexter's a little bit upset and trying to make the code his own. And he finds himself coming into an unlikely friendship with the assistant district attorney, Miguel Prado, because of a incident that he had in accidentally killing his brother. So he's kind of developing a friendship with him while also dealing with the fact that Rita is pregnant. So what did you
Yeah.
guys think about season
And also
3?
dealing with the fact that everyone forgets that Dokes is the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Yeah,
I feel like
pretty
they bring
much.
it up like once or twice.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
really
like
do.
Rob,
that
don't
was,
worry, it comes up in season 7.
Yeah, it's
I was like, this was like such a huge thing that
I know,
happened.
it's like one of your own is like one of the most notorious serial killers out there.
I do agree that should have been definitely.
I
But
mean,
once
that's
again,
a big
that's-
thing. In between seasons, they kind of just cut it, and they talk very minimally about the ramifications of the last season
Right.
going into the next one.
And,
I don't know, I
and
feel
I
like they
fully
did-
expected it because once again, this is a show that doesn't care about details. It's just like
What were you going to say, Ron?
Oh, I was just gonna say that like I think they did a good job of carrying over the ramifications of the ice truck killer in
Yes.
season 2, and I feel like they do a good job even in season 5 dealing with what happened with
Trinity.
Trinity and everything to season 5. But this season it felt so odd that
Miguel
like after
Prado
such
kind
like
of brings it up a couple
massive thing-
times.
Yeah. Like he's just like, is the same department that had the what's it called, the Bay Harbor Butcher. Everyone's like, we're not supposed to talk about that. What are you doing? Like, why'd you bring that up?
There was they were missing one of my favorite characters this season too.
Captain Matthews is
Yeah, Captain
mysterious.
Matthews.
and
Oh,
all.
Matthews,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not in there the whole
I think
time.
he's just golfing the entire time.
It's
Yeah.
like, and he comes back for season 4. I don't really care for Captain Matthews.
I love Captain Matthews, even though he's the most oblivious fucking idiot ever, or he secretly knows everything.
there's-
That's the big Reddit theory.
I don't know. I feel like LaGuerta is like, man. I feel extra bad for her this season. Like, I mean, her whole arc just gets worse and worse as the show goes on.
I feel
But-
bad for the actress. not
Yeah,
the
I
character.
just feel bad for her that like she can't trust anybody. Like
Yeah.
every time that she tries to like even get close to somebody, they
Something
end up.
terrible happens.
Yeah, either something terrible happens to them, or they turn out to be an awful person.
Yeah.
She just has terrible instincts, like almost as bad as Deb. But Deb actually kind of has a step up this season in terms of her personal life. She, kind of. I mean, she puts her career at stake.
I mean, is
But-
it really?
I know.
And
I mean,
she
a step up from
manages-
the ice truck killer.
It's a step up from the ice truck killer, a step up from Lundy.
no, I wouldn't say step up from
No,
Lundy.
I definitely say
Below-
that. She's
below
not
Lundy.
trying to fuck her dad for once. It's like, thank God.
she finally manages to meet her goal of being more like her father. So.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, she's not trying to fuck her dad, but she's trying to fuck a CI that's not a CI. And
Yeah.
that's like, what do you mean? That's war. It's like,
I just love like when Dexter's like, "Oh, you always wanted to be like Dad, huh?" And she's like, "It's like what the fuck, Dexter?" Which I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of messed up, man."
So what do you guys generally think about season 3?
hey, you Ron, you want to start?
It kind of like it was all right at first. It really wasn't until like about halfway through the season, like I say around like Si Se Puede, when like Miguel like accepts Dexter, and then like I mean, to be fair, I feel like they almost jumped the shark in that episode when they decide to break out that like the Nazi dude, and
Yeah.
it's like that's like the most ridiculous risk an unnecessary risk. Like there are plenty of other people, and I understand the point that Dexter was trying to make. Like
He was trying to play chicken with Miguel
was-
Prado,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
He was
Miguel
trying
didn't
to-
flinch.
He was trying to
Yeah.
show Miguel this isn't all fun and games.
yeah, but I was just like, it just felt like just a stupid risk on Dexter's part, honestly.
So you
but
mean a show that's like breaking character inconsistencies? I know, right?
I'm Philip. I only watch premium television since
I was
3.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know, man. It's called, just call it culture watching, having eyes.
No, but like I think that's like that's like kind of when the show kind of took off, or this season took off a little bit more for me. But yeah, it was a bit of a slow start. I didn't really care that much for Miguel's character at first, but he kind of grew on me a bit. Yeah, overall, I think it was like a decent season, but I'll get into it more later.
Yeah, I mean, with Lagreta, this might be one of her more interesting arcs. The first season was she was just, what's it called, a politically hungry bitch, like a discount character from The Wire.
Oh my god.
And then second season, she was just like, her entire storyline was, let me sleep with my boss's fiance. And
season
that's
2
it.
was pretty bad for her.
Yeah.
I like her
And
in the
then-
latter part of season 2.
I agree with her kind of just like not being able to accept that Dokes is the Bay Harbor Butcher, which is what kind of bugged me
One
in
of the
this
only
season.
good parts.
Yeah, where it's like this season, I felt like that was going to be a way bigger thing for her character, and it's not.
Hey, Ronald, don't you worry. They revisit that in season 7.
And then it's just like, I don't know. I mean, that could have been. I mean, it left no impact on me in season 2 with the whole Dokes thing because, one, I mean, there's implied history, but there's workplace chemistry, but I never felt like that much romantic chemistry between the two. There could have been maybe if there was scenes. I mean, they do flashbacks all the time for fucking Dexter. That might have helped. Like, there's a lot of stuff with Dokes' character. I really felt like that character death should have been like delayed.
Yeah.
So that would have been more impact. So like the relationship between Laguerta and Dokes would have been fleshed out and stuff. But there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I won't get into it because it'll be a 9-hour podcast.
this is a
especially
season-
with this season, because actually I think that Dokes' interactions with the Skinner might have actually been very interesting, seeing as he did have that Black Ops background and he was
Yeah,
in South
exactly.
America,
That would have
been
in
actually
Nicaragua
insane.
and stuff.
Interestingly enough, did you guys know the Skinner is more than likely based on one of the book's villains, Dr. Danko, and that villain actually in the books has a personal vendetta against Dokes. So I think that's maybe part of the reason why they kind of change up that character is because they couldn't do a carbon copy since Dokes was already dead. But I'll get into that later because when we talk about the Skinner, I do want to talk about who the Skinner is based off of because as I've established before, the books aren't great. The show's actually better than the books in a lot of regards. But that's one of the villains I know a lot of the fans really wanted to see on the screen because
interesting.
he is interesting. And I'll get into it when we talk about the Skinner.
Well, we can get into it now because I felt like the Skinner was a pretty weak villain.
Yeah.
Well,
honestly.
He's super weak.
I know
the
he's
thing-
not. I know he's not the major overarching villain, but even as far as like just the killers go,
Well,
I
they
was like,
introduced him in episode 2, or
Yeah.
at least like his
It's-
kills. I mean,
yeah,
he was as prevalent throughout the story as
pretty much.
what's
almost
his
any
name,
of
the
these-
ice truck
No,
killer
he
was.
is not.
No, yeah,
Here's
it's
the-
like
okay. Because the
No.
Ice Truck Killer has like a personal stake with Dexter.
Yeah, but
Oh no, in terms of like
that doesn't really develop till the end of the season.
No,
where you
but
see that.
throughout the entire season 1, Dexter's like interpreting like the Ice Truck Killer's work. Like Dexter sees a couple dead bodies in this season. He's like, whatever, I don't care. Because I was actually gonna say, if we're gonna talk about the Skinner, I think it's the weakest part of this season. Mostly because to me it says that. I think that like I don't know. I wasn't in the writing room. They didn't invite me for some reason. I wasn't in the writing room, but I kind of had this idea that Clyde Phillips came up with an outline that was just okay. Dexter has this weird relationship with the district attorney that goes kind of bad. I think that was like always the plan. It's going to be about Dexter accepting fatherhood, Dexter kind of getting into a friendship, and Dexter kind of learning to forgive his father. It's like you guys would call this the most like low stakes season, but on more of a personal season, right? It's a very character driven season.
Yeah, I will say as far as like the major themes of this season, I really do like that. Like it focuses on like you said, Dexter just being a father, him trying to like understand what it means to be a husband, and really
I
being
like
like
that
a
part,
partner
Dealing with Harry.
Yeah, with Rita. It's not so much about Harry, which I like because the last 2 seasons were way more focused on Harry. But and then also with
Miguel
Dexter just
Prado.
having a friend,
But anyway,
like an actual friend that can be around. And
because
stuff,
where I was
you know?
going with this is the main struggle of the season is he's dealing with the impending birth of his child while also dealing with trying to develop a friendship. Now, the Skinner to me has always kind of been like someone above was like, well, you need a big scary villain too. Like I've always, because like Miguel Prado he's like a...
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, Philip, a couple weeks ago you said that the Ice Truck Killer is your favorite killer villain. I would call Miguel Prado my favorite, like, not straight up killer villain, but rather like a problem that Dexter made for himself villain, kind of like Lila.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're saying, Prado. Sorry, I thought you meant the Skinner.
No,
what?
Miguel Prado.
Prado is your favorite, was a personal life problem villain.
Yes.
I could kind of see that.
But let me finish my point. We'll get into
you're
that.
going.
Sorry, I'm taking like an hour to make my point. I'm not well spoken. The point I'm trying to make is I think that they had this super tight story just centered around Dexter making a friend while also dealing with shit, while also kind of losing his mind. And then someone above was like, you need a villain too. So they kind of throw the Skinner in. And the problem with the Skinner is it's not really Dexter's villain, right? It's thematically, it's more like Deb's villain, which is fine, except for she's not the one that like, you know, kind of puts an end to that. Dexter kind of like almost by accident is the resolve to him.
It's like, first of all, just the resolution to the Skinner thing is probably my favorite, most goofy resolution at all. Like, you know, when Dexter breaks out, like, you know, he breaks his own hand and then he just he snaps his neck and then just tosses him onto the hood of the car and him just getting dragged. I couldn't help but like you know, just crack up at that.
I laughed. Like, I really like a lot.
It's because they show him just like boom boom, just flops under the car and then gets dragged for like 4 feet.
And then like,
I love that the cops were like, "Oh yeah, he was so scared of us, he just took the easy way out." The coward.
Dude, I never. Yeah, that was so stupid. I
like
really
that
could
scene,
not
though.
like buy a. Oh my wow. I mean, I guess maybe there really are cops that fucking stupid.
Well,
but-
most of them are.
And then what's it called? Oh, I was like, we just lost all our cop viewers because they're like 0. And then but yeah, that Skinner resolution was that was terrible.
I
And-
really like that scene though with Dexter and the Skinner. It's
I
the
will say,
only thing I like about the Skinner.
That really is like that. My favorite scene with the Skinner was when he starts off and he's like whistling at Dexter. He's trying to intimidate him and stuff, and then Dexter's just like, he likes control. I'm just gonna take that away from him. I killed Freebo. He's like, huh? He's like, yeah, I chopped him up into pieces with my bone saw, blah blah whatever. And he's just like what the fuck? Like he's just like immediately put off by Dexter.
Which is
I like
also,
that.
I guess I should get into the book now because this is going in that same direction. So it's never been confirmed, but many fans have pointed out, and if you've read the book, totally. The Skinner is essentially a discount version of Dr. Denko, which is in the second Dexter book, Dearly Devoted Dexter.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you really briefly about Dr. Denko. So Dr. Denko is the main villain of the second book of Dexter. He's essentially like, much like the Skinner, a former like Black Ops kind of guy who was actually in Dokes's unit. It wasn't Black Ops, it was something else, but I'm not going to look it up.
So he's American, or was he?
No. He was,
He was just wrapped up in that.
he was
Black
wrapped
Ops
up in
world.
that kind of life. I don't
Okay.
remember the exact details. Sorry, purists. The point being is that he was like a medical guy turned torturer, and he would torture for like whatever unit Dokes was on. And his whole thing was that he would chop off the limbs and a bunch of shit like that to essentially interrogate people. And then he gets wrapped up in a bunch of bad shit and ends up like getting captured. And like Dokes' unit never saves him. So he's like torturing his own side and it kind of like fucks him up. So anyways, in the second book, he comes to Miami looking for vengeance. So he starts like torturing people essentially as an act of revenge. And his whole method is he plays a game of hangman with his like victims, and for everything that they get wrong, he chops off like a limb. But it's not just that. He like cuts off their limbs, their noses, their ears, and their tongues until they're literally just 2 eyeballs. And then he puts them in front of a mirror just to stare at themselves until someone can arrive to help, basically.
So much better.
Yeah, that's so much better. And having Dokes this season with that personal stake would have been
Would have
really
been
cool.
so.
And-
we could
Yeah.
explore his history too. That
Yeah,
we never
because
fucking
we never
do.
really get to see Dokes have like a personal stake with any of the villains besides Dexter, obviously. But it would have been really cool to explore him more.
Anyways,
He was really the missing key, like the missing thing in this season. Honestly, like
Right.
Yeah, you
Season.
didn't have a loud guy yelling "freak" every 30 seconds.
anyways, but I want to get into that because that scene at the end of season 3 kind of happens in the book, but in a different context. So in the book, the second book is a little, it kind of follows where the second season goes. Not at all, but like with the Dokes tailing Dexter thing that is in the second book. So Dokes is kind of tailing Dexter the entire book, and then I don't remember how, but somehow they both end up being abducted by Dr. Denko at the same time, and they're kind of like tied up next to each other, and Dr. Denko is just, going wild, cutting off Dokes' tongue, cutting off his like body parts, and Dexter's trying to like talk to Dokes, and then like Dr. Denko is like, oh, you're gonna talk? I'm gonna cut off his limb, and then like he's cutting off Dokes' limbs, and Dexter's like completely unbothered by it, and then Dr. Denko's like, aren't you scared of this? And Dexter's like, no, to be honest, you're actually helping me out. This guy's been a huge fucking problem. Dr. Denko's like, what? So it's kind of similar. You get what I mean? To
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Would've been
I
much
think
better, actually.
what I really like about the Dr. Denko concept is like it goes into something that Dexter the show never really does, which is the different types of serial killers, like
Well,
specifically.
Dr. Denko doesn't kill in the book. I should mention that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there's the product serial killers, and then there's the process killers, right? And Denko is definitely a process killer. Like he enjoys the act of killing and prolonging it as long as possible, controlling the victim, all that stuff. And then like someone like the ice truck killer is definitely a product killer, right? He just kills, and then what he does and dismembers the body and messes with them a lot. And it's like that, like the killers never really like seem to fall too much into those categories that much. Like they're always kind of like a little mix mash of stuff. Like even Dexter's kind of like
He's both for
yeah,
sure.
which is like not completely uncommon, but it's, I don't know. I feel like it would have been more interesting if they got more into the psychology and the different types of those kinds of serial killers, because
They kind of tried that with season 8 when they brought the psychologist, but that just didn't pan out.
yeah.
What's it called?
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it breaks my heart.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, the
Such a
Skinner-
talented actress too for that.
But overall, I think we can all agree the Skinner's weak, and it probably would have been better if they had just left him out.
I think
or
that
just
at
like
the
devoted a
beginning, though-
season to him,
Well, the biggest problem I think is like at the beginning, he seems like he's going to be a strong character. You got all these bodies around missing their skin, and you can tell who it is from the beginning. Really, you can. I mean, you got the guy trimming the trees acting like kind of sketchy, and he's like, "No, I didn't see anything." And it's like, dude, like,
Yeah, when they focus on the tree trimmer stuff, I was like, okay.
yeah.
And they
there's
bring it up
something
like
here.
2 more times,
Yeah.
like fucking tree trimmers. But I do like what Prado says at a certain point. He's like, yeah, the trees just got trimmed in front of my house. Like that doesn't mean anything. And it's like, that's true. Like there's a million palm trees in Miami. You don't think that like they're all getting trimmed?
Yeah.
I don't know. The reason the Skinner bothers me so much is, one, it means that we never get Dr. Denko. And two, the big thing, I just feel like it's a cop-out to have a villain. Like, Miguel Prado, he's the villain of the season, but, like, he's not a traditional villain. He's not really a villain until the last, 2 episodes. And he's not really an intimate threat. He's more like a personal kind of villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has a very strong relationship with Dexter, and that's what makes him scary. His body count is like 2 fucking people.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of like Miguel Prado.
Yeah. Oh, right. He killed 2 people, right? He killed Ellen Wolf, and he killed that one bookie.
Yeah,
right?
he's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really a big, bad, scary villain. He's more like Dexter's friend, and it goes bad, and they have to deal with the resolution. I wish we could have just seen that. Like, why do we need the Skinner? Why do we need some other outside threat?
Because it's 12 episodes, and the story was stretched beyond its limits.
Yeah,
I
really,
actually
because
disagree with that.
I don't know, because I feel like this season
It's
like Skinner presents like that first real problem where it's like he's just in the background. Like he's really not like he's kind of the focus of like, the regular police force, but Dexter feels so separated from it. Where this is like the first season he really doesn't give a shit about like the major villain and everything, because we already know that like, Freebo's dead. We already know what happened to Oscar.
And by the way,
right?
that's
We
part of the
already-
reason I hate the Skinner. Hey, Freebo's dead, asshole. What are you, stupid?
Yeah, and that's why I like where like
Or didn't he say like you just like
Yeah, no,
doing
yeah,
that,
he's like
of
you just
course.
like torturing people, and he's like doesn't
It's
say it,
so
but yes, he does.
unintimidating. I get the whole point. Like he's supposed to hide in plain
One
sight.
last note about Skinner. I do like, because Deb realizes that he hates like the disrespect thing. I do love that scene where like Deb just knocks him to the ground. He's like, "What are you gonna do about it, little gardener man?" Like I do love that. That's like Deb at her best when she's just this unhinged crazy person.
I laughed so hard during that scene. Oh my gosh.
Should we get into Miguel Prado since he's kind of the main focus?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think of Miguel Prado? Like I said, personally, he's my favorite interpersonal villain that Dexter has.
I'll say this. I love Jimmy Smith. I love the concept of the villain and what he represents for Dexter and what he could do. And then like I could see in a writer's perspective, like, juxtaposing and advancing the certain themes with his own personal life. And it's probably the perfect personal villain for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think stretched to his limits.
Really?
Yeah.
My main complaint is that I think he should have been in at least 2 seasons.
I feel like he could have been introduced in last season, and then
Yeah.
and then like that character's already in the background, and then that season would have been the main villain for this one.
Yeah. To kind of cash in on him.
Well, and that I think that would have helped a lot more also because I was like looking at it and rewatching it when I first saw the show. I really didn't like Miguel Prado. I didn't get his character, and then I rewatched this season and I actually like him a little bit more. But one thing that I was noticing is by the end he definitely knows that Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Oh, for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
But I think that at the beginning, it would have been interesting if, say, they had him in last season and he's following the Bay Harbor Butcher thing, especially with his connection to La Guerta. If you had something where it's like Dokes kind of knew him too, and Dokes had hinted to him that, hey, the real Bay Harbor Butcher is Dexter, or there's something fucked up about this guy. And then, Miguel Prado starts suspecting Dexter, but because he's that kind of shady, like justice at all costs type person, where it's like take down the bad guys by whatever means necessary. If he had then approached Dexter basically because he knew, oh yeah, this guy, he's doing justice his own way. So all those guys that I can't get off the street because of legal reasons, I'll just use this guy to take care of it. And that would have been a better character introduction in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like just having him kind of passively condone what's happening, even when it's like, they find out that it's, they think that it's Dokes and stuff. He's just kind of like, yeah, oh, so tragic, This guy's going out and cleaning up the streets.
Well, you know that during the fucking Bay Harbor Butcher investigation, Miguel Prado was definitely low-key in the background, like,
Yeah, for somebody,
course,
for assistant DA on the track to become a star DA, and the fact that he hasn't appeared at all during one of the biggest fucking cases.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking stretch.
I mean, I guess
Like,
that,
if they actually planned out the seasons and had him beforehand and actually had a
makes
season
it-
Bible and a series things and just paid attention to detail, you could have done this, but
I mean, I guess
They
it
didn't.
kind of makes sense because the assistant DA, I imagine he really only shows up after like they catch somebody, right?
not necessarily.
Right?
What's it
Like,
called?
I mean,
If
to be
there's
fair, I'm
a
not that familiar with
what's it called? If they're
familiar at all, honestly. But.
they usually step in if like what's it called, if there's a shitstorm regarding, or if like there's certain procedures they want to do or how they could affect their campaign. They, especially with the Metropedian, and especially since he has a history with La Guerta,
Yeah.
like I really find it unbelievable that he didn't visit at all in the past like 2 seasons with like Astro Killer,
Yeah,
the
that's
Bay
fair.
Harbor Butcher,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
like I said,
I think that's that might also be the reason why Matthews wasn't in this season, because a lot of the stuff and Matthews' like role as being kind of the antagonist against La Guerta, and then also being kind of the big boss of the precinct who's kind of making things harder for everybody, got taken over by Miguel Prado this season.
Matthews is busy golfing and being racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know. I love Miguel
he hates
Prado.
Cubans, right? I'm just kidding. He doesn't
Or
hate
he
Cubans.
said
He's just
some-
joking.
Yeah, he just kind of. I mean,
not
honestly,
joking.
I could see that he could be like kind of racist.
Yeah.
He's definitely racist.
Yeah.
He's
you know what?
racist and sexist.
Actually, maybe that's why Miguel Prado doesn't show up the first 2 seasons. Maybe just he doesn't want to deal with Matthews' bullshit every time he goes
You don't
there.
want to. The only thing we would have gotten out of Matthews this season, he would say something like, "Oh, Miguel Prado, what a pain in the ass."
Of
Like
course,
that's.
it's the gardener guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I
That-
love Miguel Prado. You know what I like about him too is there is this like nuance to him, right? Like, I don't think it's as black and white as Dexter sees it. Dexter instantly turns on him and goes, "Okay, he's an asshole. I gotta kill him." I think that Miguel Prado's whole thing is the reason he's dangerous is because Dexter isn't really a vigilante, right? He isn't really taking any of this personally. Dexter's doing what he was trained to do, which is take down criminals. Miguel Prado, on the other hand, he thinks he's like actually delivering justice with his bare hands. He's taking this very personally. He sees Dexter as like a vendetta machine, as opposed to Dexter, who is just doing a process. And when the two of them clash, it turns bad. My thing is, though, I don't think Prado was necessarily a villain from the get-go. I think he actually kind of like always thought that Dexter was just going to come around. I really believe in his mind, Like, he kills Ellen Wolf, and Dexter makes that big scene. I think in his mind, he's like, okay, he's not ready for it yet, but we're going to be this ultimate partnership. But Dexter, on the other hand, was like, all right, this guy's officially crossed the line. He's got to go.
Do you think that he would have killed Miguel if he hadn't killed Ellen Wolf? And let's just say, like, he was kind of just this other guy who was also killing murderers and, you know, criminals and stuff. Do you think he would have gone after him?
Yeah.
It depends on like how much.
I think he would have.
It depends on like how much Miguel Prado breaks Harry's code, and it also depends on how much of a security risk he poses to Dexter. So I mean, if he doesn't, I don't think so, because that's like one of his own friends.
I do like that one scene when he's like, hey man, like it's cool. We'll both just work. You know, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. Like it's no problem, right? And he's like, we'll just keep doing our own things.
See, that's so. This is another reason why I think that it would have been better to kind of have at least Miguel Prado at least suspect that Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher from the beginning, because then this whole introduction that they're doing, where they're talking to each other, it kind of becomes more manipulative on Miguel Prado's end, where he sees this guy who, you know, is killing all these bad guys, but he sees him as more of an instrument or a tool that he can then use to deliver his own form of justice. And then
they dip their toes in that.
Yeah, I know, but I think that if Miguel Prado did know that he was the Bay Harbor Butcher from the beginning, then, and, you know, he was sympathetic towards the Bay Harbor Butcher and what he was doing, then it would have made a more compelling kind of narrative.
Off the podcast, me and Ron were actually just talking about this. So here's my kind of theory on that. I don't think he knew at first. I think when Miguel Prado first walks into Dexter killing Freebo, he doesn't see really how it happened. I think he genuinely believes, Dexter just kind of was investigating Freebo, snapped, and killed him. And then, of course, a few episodes later, Miguel Prado does kind of set up a low-key trap on Dexter by presenting him the perfect victim. And then Dexter does it. And then I still don't think Miguel knows he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. I think it's when he, like, sees the kill room and this, like, sick, ritualistic, fucking sick shit. I think that's when he's like, okay. I think he sees the plastic room. He sees the table. He sees how methodical it is. I think in that moment, Miguel Prado's like, okay, this is the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Yeah.
He never outright says it, but as Miles pointed out, in their big rooftop shouting match, he goes, what do you think we're going to find on that boat? I think to me that definitely signals there.
Yeah.
I love that, like, Miguel, like, you know, when they're up on the roof and, like, arguing, he, like, takes off his shirt like he's about to fucking fight Dexter. Just, like, right there.
Who would win?
He's like, yeah, let's go.
Easily Dexter.
Yeah, I think Dexter would have.
Well, isn't he like what's it called, black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
and
he's
stuff
very
like that?
well trained. Like, Miguel's got, you know, size and reach, but, like, you know, Dexter's taking down bigger, stronger dudes
Dexter takes
before.
down Dokes
Little
in
Chino.
handcuffs.
He
Yeah.
took down little Chino.
I think,
to be
honestly,
fair,
his most impressive thing was that he took down Dokes, who is actual special ops. And
to be fair, with little
muscular
Chino,
and
he does it
intimidating
from
as
a
fuck.
distance, though.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all just
and
proper.
that whole thing actually leading up to them meeting on the roof, where Dexter steals the ring and then returns the shirt that doesn't actually have Miguel Prado's blood, or doesn't actually have Freebo's blood on it.
Yeah.
It has like cow's blood or whatever. I think that that's very interesting from a narrative perspective of Dexter basically telling Miguel in their own kind of way that, I don't need what you give me to bring you down. I can bring you down anytime I want on my own. And, you know, it's basically that trust isn't there. And I could take you down if I wanted to.
Is it safe to say the main theme of the first season is order, the main theme of the second season is chaos. Would it be safe to say the main theme of this season is trust?
Familia.
Oh, definitely.
I'd say trust, because it's about the two relationships that are highlighted throughout the season is Dexter's relationship with Miguel and Dexter's relationship with Rita, both of which who he's, you know, lying about. Because like also as much as Miguel manipulates Dexter equally kind of manipulates Miguel, right? I mean, for one, should we start off with the fact that Dexter literally murders his brother and just, I guess, was never going to tell him until he does, which we'll get into because that's one of my favorite scenes of the whole series. But two, there's like all this stuff with Ramon where he's kind of manipulating Ramon to manipulate Miguel, which I love, like that whole scene in the bar where he basically...
He plays Ramon like a fiddle.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So I don't know, their whole relationship is kind of broken from the beginning, isn't it?
I like how he just shows up and just completely destroys the Prado
Oh
family.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's a tornado.
He kills the brother. He he basically makes
He kills
Ramon.
both two brothers.
He kills two brothers.
No, I mean like, well, from Miguel's like he
Yeah.
kills Miguel's brother. He what's it called? He put Ramon's in prison, and he kills Miguel.
He turns Miguel
Yeah.
into a fucking crazy person.
Yeah. Well, I like that when
Well,
they
I
have
think
that
that-
conversation in
Miguel
prison
wasn't
where he's like, everything was perfect before he showed up. And Dexter's like, really? You
Yeah.
mean your like crazy drinking problem? Miguel's like, fucked up psyche and
And not just
Oscar's.
that, he was playing loose with the law. That was a big thing with Ellen Wolf.
Yeah.
Their conflict and stuff, because Ellen Wolf was, even without Dexter, she would have tried to indict Miguel Prado on definitely what's it called, superseding the laws, superseding stuff created by the justice system, and
Yeah.
because he does a lot of things where I'm like, yeah, this is not what I remember in law school. And what's it called, Ellen Wolf. Well, we didn't talk about Ellen Wolf. Do really enjoy that character. What says some of the most legally accurate things in the show. Yeah, I'm like, wow, they kind of care, I guess, about the legal process. But she also plays fast and loose, and she has an interesting. The only thing I like about LaGuerta scene is her relationship with LaGuerta. Like the LaGuerta and Ellen Wolf, one of the few positive storylines that I actually kind of enjoy in the show.
And then she immediately gets beaten
To death and
strangled to death.
So I think something that's very interesting is that the two lawyers that we've really seen in the show both confuse winning with justice. Because Ellen Wolf is all about, I'm fine with getting bad guys out of jail if it means that I win the case. And Miguel Prado is like, I'm fine with hiding evidence and doing all this crazy shit if I can put somebody in jail. It doesn't matter if they did it or not. It doesn't matter if, we can prove it. As long as I can get them away, then I won. And that's justice.
Huh.
And that's very emblematic of how lawyers are.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They're scummy people.
Yeah.
Almost in law school. That was gonna be a scummy. I'm a scummy person, so it would work.
It's okay, Philip.
Yeah, I know. What's it called? Yeah, I agree with that, and that's that part was nice. I mean, it's definitely very heightened for the show. And then Miguel. Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's like he's a DA, so it's just like, or he's an ADA technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This season also introduces a few new characters besides Miguel.
Oh, Quinn.
Quinn, who is, I'm just going to say it because I know everybody disagrees with me. Quinn is one of my favorite characters in the whole show. He's my favorite cop.
Wow.
I love
That
Quinn.
So Blake is blind.
Okay,
right?
can I explain?
I mean,
The reason he's my favorite like cop character on this show because, and it's not even really apparent yet, I really like his dynamic with Dexter because Quinn's whole thing is like he's like this dirty cop, right? He's a dirty cop.
But is he?
Every season.
Not this season. Not this.
He gets
mean,
dirty
he-
next season.
Yeah, this
Well-
one, it's like the dirtiest thing he does is not officially file like.
Which
an
is
anti-
super dirty,
CI
by the
anti-
way.
No,
Wait, yeah, it's definitely fucked up,
but
but
at
it's,
the same time,
yeah.
like
In the
it
history
is
of dirty
kind of
cops.
chill
Yeah.
because even like with the CIs and stuff, if they get in order to become a CI, they got to charge you with a crime, and then they basically do a whole contract thing so you get out of those charges, but they're still on your record. So he literally left Anton Briggs without a record. And he was doing what he thought was a good thing for him. He wasn't following the rules, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it was dirty because at the
I
end
would
of
say
the
it's
day,
dirty.
it's still dirty. But
Yeah.
as far as
No,
like
but-
dirty cop stuff goes, like
like bottom of the
yeah,
list.
it's really not that bad.
at the
Well,
end of the day, he was leaving Anton in a better situation than he would have been in.
I mean,
yeah,
I mean, other than getting
it's
Yeah.
still sketchy.
it's
as
still
fuck.
like super illegal and also kind of like just fucked up in general. And I understand
but
why
anyways,
Anton was so pissed.
Let me get into why I like Quinn because I know that he's not a fan favorite, but he's easily he's easily in my top 3 favorite characters of the entire series. I love Quinn.
Oh.
I don't
Okay, go on.
care. And this is why I'm just disclosing it now. I like Quinn. He's a dirty cop. He's super sketchy. He's good at what he does sometimes, but I really like the dynamic he forms later in the series at Dexter, where they're both these two sketchy people that work in the same building, and they kind of just coexist a lot later in the show. And as they're walking by the hallways, they're always kind of staring at each other like, I know what you're doing. And then Quinn looks right back at Dexter, I know what you're doing. I don't know. I really like the dynamic that they form in the later seasons.
I think he
I
definitely
always saw him
gets
as
better.
a lesser Dokes, or like lesser
Well, he's
version
not
of
Dokes
Dokes.
at
See,
all.
that's
though.
the
No,
thing.
but like he's essentially replacing that kind of antagonistic male cop role.
But
Yeah, that's the
he,
thing
but he
is-
doesn't actually care about Dexter nearly as much. He does for a while, but I really like his.
I remember because
Yeah. I was gonna say the first time I went through the show when they introduced Quinn, I hated his character, and I think it really was because I'm like missing Doak so much, and they're kind of like I understand that he's a different guy. He's not exactly like Dokes, but he is kind of supposed to be like that replacement for Dokes. And
I
it's
think
just
like he's like
damn,
like the
it's
character,
like,
but
what a
he's replacing
subpar
him.
replacement. But it's like rewatching it now and seeing how he is now in like the full context of the show. It's like I like him. I think he's fine this season.
Well,
like, he's
at
a
the
little
beginning of
passable.
the season, he really did just seem like the pretty boy cop. You know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got like the fancy car, and he like he doesn't look as creepy as he does later. I'll say like he gets progressively creepier looking. I mean, he ends up in a Nicholas Winding Refn movie, so
Well, he loses a lot of weight, which I don't even think we should talk about because that's his business.
yeah.
Because that was a thing that a lot of people like. He actually got really bothered by that. A lot of fans kept like asking, "Why is Quinn so skinny? Why is Quinn so skinny?" And then Desmond Harrington, the actor, eventually just said, "Because I am. Why the fuck does everybody care?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just respect. Who cares?
Yeah,
We're not
I mean,
here
yeah,
to
that's a
judge his-"
personal thing for
Yeah.
the actor. Not really. That's nothing to do with the character or anything.
But I don't know. I love Quinn, and I think that's a discussion for like in the next few weeks. Cause
Wait, was he? Did he? Like I remember that and stuff like that. Was he didn't mention if it was like a disease or anything, right?
No, he actually just says that it's because he just works out. But I don't know if he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't think it's our place to talk about his body. It's his.
Yeah, no.
Well, then why are you bringing it up?
Just because you were.
I did say that
Yeah,
he
that
looks
was wrong.
creepier as the seasons go on.
I mean, to be fair, like an actor's job is part of it is their physicality, right? And how the physicality informs the character. And if your physicality changes, that is, apt for either criticism or praise. So that's part of the job. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's kinda fair,
So
yeah.
I mean,
It's like, but no, I like his character is kind of set up this season for the most part. I feel like they could have done more with the dirty cop thing because,
Well,
like,
they do later.
I know, but I'm just saying for this season, it's like he's all right. I like his.
They
his
didn't even
dynamic
really
with
like
Deborah
explain
more.
it though. Like the whole dirty
No.
cop thing, that kind of annoyed the crap out of me. Where it's like throughout the season they're insinuating, oh yeah, he's a dirty cop, he's a bad guy. He got this police officer killed, and it's like,
Well, specifically that one lady.
the Asian
Yeah.
the internal affairs.
She's super annoying, by the way.
and
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't seem like that. Like, where's your evidence? What are you basing? this
I don't
on?
think she comes up again, right?
No, I
Yeah,
don't think so.
that was just a waste of time.
Yeah, she
she's like,
really-
there's so many
yeah.
wasted subplots, and this was like Angel with, Barbara, right?
Oh, by the way, that's like I fucking hate Angel's B stories. I've said that every week.
Yeah.
This is one of them that really bothers me. I actually, you're definitely going to disagree with me. I like Angel's subplot in the next season a lot. It's one of the few dumb. It's one of the few dumb subplots that I think works.
I'll say
Oh.
I don't remember what the next season's is, but as far as this one goes, this is definitely the best one so far.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I actually kind of care about Batista
It was
and
missing a
his little
scene.
relationship.
It was missing a scene where she goes, 2 double meats.
Jesus.
No, I actually like this one. I don't mind that much. Like, although Batista comes off like a complete idiot when like the undercover cop is like, she sees his badge and she's like, okay, walk away, and he's like, anyway, he just keeps going on. She's like, leave, sergeant.
And he gets promoted
Yeah.
to a sergeant.
And he's
the
like-
last person I would promote.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, I'm not a sergeant tonight. It's like, you fucking idiot. She's literally spelling it out for you pretty much like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And he does it like 3 times. He's like, oh, just plays it
Oh,
off.
do you guys like Masuka's little arc in this?
I do.
I love Masuka's little.
Do we
thing.
ever see that?
Yeah.
Is it the one where he's
like
trying?
escort lady again?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
No, I do like his arc where he's like, he feels really underappreciated and he feels just like a joke. And he tries to like.
Oh, he tries
straight-
to invite everybody to his.
Yeah, and he's
I
like,
remember that.
none of you guys showed up. Like,
You
what the
asshole,
fuck?
Dexter! You said you wouldn't miss it for anything.
I
Yeah.
actually like Masuka. Yeah, I do really like Masuka.
I really like
Why?
his little story, like, where he's just like, he just
What's
wants to be
the-
appreciated.
What's
you know?
the Asian guy's name? Where it's like where Masuka's like fucking.
Oh yeah, this guy
Give it
Oh
a
right,
bad
he
name.
looks like him or something.
it
Like, he
like
looks
his
like me or
name?
something.
gives a bad name for Asians, man.
What's it? Do you, does
Takes his
anybody,
shoes off. Come on, how could you be more cliche?
I know.
Does anybody remember his name though?
No, I
Because
don't.
throughout the whole time he's like fucking this guy,
Yeah, and he's like, you kind of look like him. He's like, that's racist, man.
and then he looks at the picture. He's like, oh.
Oh shit.
What's it called? Yeah, it's like they perfectly knew how to use him until the later seasons. But
Yeah.
and then I mentioned the Angel. I fucking hated it because it took so much screen time. It's just like gosh.
And then spoilers. This literally just like She's not in the next season.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
we'll talk
really?
about that for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get into too much.
Yeah, we'll
Because
go.
when
We'll
we
talk
talk about that'll be
season
criticism.
four.
For
I
season
like
4.
Angel's subplot next season. By
Okay.
the way.
I
And that's rare for me.
I do
Angel
have
is
I do have a
historically-
question for you because I haven't seen every single season of Dexter. But is there a subplot where he becomes a salsa dancing champion?
No.
Because I
Dude,
could see that
you know what?
happening.
Honestly, actually, no, I'm not
He
gonna
owns
answer.
a
I'm not gonna
restaurant.
answer that because I feel like I'll get canceled. So I'll just say this: no, he doesn't. Yeah.
Okay.
He owns a restaurant at some point,
Oh,
which I actually like.
As far as like Batista subplots goes, I still say this is like probably the best one.
Dude, no more
No.
double
It's-
meats.
It's not saying much. I'll
No,
say.
let's
I-
like
to
even
be fair,
though
I don't really remember all the other ones, but like once we get to the later seasons with his fucking sister, like oh god.
like
It's so
even though I really don't like his subplots at all, even next season's subplot I really don't like. But it's better than this subplot. But also next subplot is kind of undermined because of this subplot because all the subplots of Angel just like compound and
Yeah, this was
fuck
just
each other up.
kind of sweet, you know.
This
like,
one would have been better if they bled this subplot into the next subplot. We can talk about that next week. It's like Quinn. This all started with Quinn, by the way. I just want to say this about Quinn. I like him. He's one of my favorite characters in the series, and we'll learn why later. He doesn't do that much in this season just yet.
All right, you guys.
can we talk about the bachelor party?
Oh, what about it?
You mean Miguel's?
Yeah,
Miguel's
the whole. Well,
speech?
I mean, just the whole bachelor party.
I
thing,
do like
you know,
Miguel's little speech where he's like, "Fuck you. Why don't you want to be my friend?"
Yes, that was a really good speech right there. But then also like, Dexter getting kidnapped. And,
Oh, yeah.
and they kind of like lead you
Yeah.
on to think that like the Skinner did it because this is right after the big conflict where they reveal that Miguel Prado just brought Dexter up onto the roof so that the Skinner could see his face and know who he was and go after him. And then you see, Dexter get kidnapped and he's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die.
How do you get in contact with the Skinner? I don't remember how he does that.
Oh no, Miguel
It just
freezes.
happens.
Miguel freezes Skinner and stuff like that. He's the reason
Oh,
why.
duh, yeah, they talk to
Skinner,
each other.
Yeah.
and then they
forgot.
call each other
Yeah.
and says like, Dexter knows free, but like basically,
Yeah,
like hinting like, yeah, you should go after Dexter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. It's really like, wow. I'm like, I get it. This is a very heightened version of an ADA, but wow, I don't even know how he got that position. Like considering how loose he plays with the laws, he didn't get caught so far, and his unstable psyche.
It's because he's got Ramon to clean up his messes.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I never got that part either where he's like, I was cleaning up after him. It's like,
And like
Ow.
and then ADA doing Dexter stuff, it works for Dexter because once again,
Yeah.
he's not necessarily bottom of the pool when it comes to what's it called,
he's just a forensic dude. He
Yeah,
kind of
we're-
blends
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, when he's just like someone recognizes him, it's like, yeah, because he's like this superstar ADA guy. Like, of course people are gonna recognize you.
And he's
You're gonna
huge
be
in the Cuban what's it
Community.
called? Community in
Yeah.
fucking Miami. So it's like
It's like,
what?
yeah, you're gonna be stalking people. You think no one's gonna see who you are.
They name a freeway after him at the end. So it's just like what
I love the
He's
the
really
whole scene
stupid.
too where they're at the casino and some guy says hi and then Dexter's like, who the fuck is that? And he's like, well, I don't know, people recognize him. He's like, oh, that's it, we can't kill this guy.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, and I love that scene too where Dexter's just like in his head and he's like, I told Miguel to dress like non-suspicious and he shows up looking like the Unabomber.
Yeah.
One last thing, I do like speaking of Dexter's funny lines of the season, and it also goes with what's his fucking name? Batista's whole thing. I love that scene where Batista's asking Dexter to do all this like sketchy forensics work, and Dexter in his head is just like, if Batista wants to kill this guy, I don't care. I'm gonna stay out of this. And then and he's like, Batista, don't. And then like Dexter in his head's like, what am I doing? Don't get involved.
Do you
guys
guys?
don't-
I think it's
Oh.
kind of funny that the two people who LaGuerta had very close relationships with were Dokes and then Miguel, and so then at the end of season 2, Dokes is a good guy who everybody ends up thinking is a bad guy after he dies, and at the end of season 3, Miguel Prado is a bad guy that everybody ends up thinking of as this hero at the very end of the season. And it just seems like all around her, people are not getting what they deserve. All of her friends, at least.
Yeah, she's kind of a
Yeah.
tragic character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without saying any more, too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like
Yeah, I mean, it's just the tragedy of like how they wrote a character.
Philip.
That's what it's called.
I feel like we should bring up also this is the first season we really see like Harry as like Dexter's little spirit guide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spirit dead.
Which I really like, honestly. It was something I
That was a
missed,
good
and
way
then
to-
rewatching the show, I forgot that he doesn't do that until this season. Because I was like, wait, he's not here? It's like, oh, it's like not till season 3 that he like halfway through he shows up. Which I honestly I really like. I like him just kind of
reflecting his inner
It
thoughts.
gets
Yeah,
really
just-
annoying in the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
But in
But,
this, it works.
Yeah, I think it works here. I think he's finally kind of come to terms with Harry
Yeah.
and everything that happened to him, and he accepts him. And I don't know, I like him being there.
And that's why
Well-
I'm interested in like how, because like, and that's why I was surprised that like he's not showing up in New Blood at all. And that
Really?
yeah, because we already talked about it before. Where
To
it's
be
like,
fair, though,
Deborah's gonna be the new.
also,
So yeah,
I just wanted to talk about Harry real quick as he appears as that ghost that kind of is talking to Dexter. Is he actually, that a vision of like Harry talking to Dexter, or is that more so the code that Dexter is following? Because in season 1 and 2, you see a bunch of flashbacks of Harry talking to Dexter about different things. And then as Dexter decides at the end of season 2, I'm going to take the code into my own hands. It's mine now. It's not Harry's. But then does he give a face to it? And is that face Harry? So every time he's struggling with the code, and that's usually what they're talking about, is that kind of just him thinking to himself, his kind of inner thoughts.
That's exactly what it is,
But
yeah.
so I don't know. That's just how I kind of saw it, where
Yeah.
it wasn't really meant to be Harry. It just has the face of Harry.
yeah, I think that he's like the embodiment of the code. Like you said,
Yeah.
I think he's the guy that just it's like telling him, just re-explaining the rules and everything to him and saying like, oh, you can't do this. This is bad. Whatever. And then, but I really love the moment when Dexter's in the trunk and he thinks he's about to get kidnapped, he's kidnapped and he thinks he's gonna get captured by the Skinner and stuff. And then he's like, I guess this is what I get for trying to make a friend. And then I like that Harry tells him like, well, it's like, I'm proud of you for trying to make a friend. That's great. Like, I'm glad that you did that. And I really feel like that's something Harry actually probably would have told him,
Yeah.
like he would have been like, good job trying to be normal and having a buddy and stuff. But also this is what happens,
Yeah.
And that like, that's a big lesson for him, and I think he gets that now.
And then he just punches Masuka right in the face.
Yeah, which is great. I love that. That was
Yeah.
actually one of the few times I smiled on the season.
Um, one thing we should talk about too is Miguel Prado's death scene, which I think is one of the best. It's one of my favorite Dexter kills in the entire series.
You mean where it with the wire? And
But
just jumping
also,
out?
can we talk about the kills in this season in general? I feel like this is one of the most unorthodox seasons for Dexter's kills. He definitely does like the weirdest, most obscure kills in this season. Like there's not a lot of traditional Dexter kills here. We have the pedophile, which Dexter just strangles to death instead of doing his old thing. There's of course the boat killing, which feels a little gimmicky to me, where Dexter sneaks on a boat, kills someone, sneaks off the boat.
I feel like Dexter's adding more challenges to his kills this season. It really feels like he's kind of upping the stakes, like going onto a freaking boat in the middle of the ocean, doing his work there, and then just dumping it off the side. Like that's pretty impressive. And then also with the Nazi guy
Oh
that
yeah,
they break out, like it's really
That's the
complex
one that
stuff.
I feel like I said before, it kind
Jumps
of
the
jumps the
shark.
shark a bit.
Yeah.
Where it's just like that's insane, man. You're bringing so much heat on you for this thing, and it's like, what? I understand why narratively why he's doing it there, but it's like it just seems like so out of the code and everything that he was trained to do. Like it's just
I'll
like,
wait till you get to season 4,
Yeah.
or 5.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you guys want to get into like favorite episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say episode 11. I had a dream. I like that episode in total, but I do really want to talk about Miguel's death scene. I guess we talk about that after. But I don't know. That's my favorite episode mostly because I like all the Miguel stuff. I like Dexter just back in his element. Like, okay. I also really like Dexter just being like, I don't want to, but I have to kill Miguel. There's no other way. And I just like all the challenges he kind of goes through in that.
I didn't really have a favorite episode per se. I would have to say the finale I thought was fantastic. It wrapped up stuff really well, especially with him escaping from the Skinner and basically just doing this whole comical thing where it's like, yeah, I'm going to break my hand, get out of here by any means necessary. I am
That was
going to
comical.
survive.
I love that. I love that whole thing where he says a wolf will chew its paw off to survive in the wild, and I will too. I love that.
Well, I think what makes it even more comical is that he still makes it to his wedding, and he's like, yeah, I tripped down some stairs, and it's like...
Well, that's like classic Dexter, like bullshit lie, though.
yeah.
I don't know. My favorite episodes, I think it was All in the Family. He has an awkward marriage proposal, and he's working to you know gain stuff. I do like the one thing I know I shit on the season a lot, or the series a lot actually, but Dexter I know what's it called Dexter and Rita. I do like everything their relationship was in the season, and Rita's storyline of her trying to progress. I don't know why she annoys me less than all the other characters. Maybe I just really like the actress or the way it's written. Her whole self-discovery journey, also her relationship with Dexter and how to mend that relationship, and she brings out like notions of fatherhood and trust between the partners, and also her own friendship with Sylvia, and she's trying to be a real estate agent after she lost a job. So I mean that part's nice. I really do appreciate that they quite do flesh her quite a bit out in this season. And then we get some big bombs like where we find out that she was actually married before, right? Yeah. And then what's it called at 16, and luckily I was afraid like, oh, is this gonna like drag out a little bit more and stuff like that, and they didn't. It was just like a thing, and Dexter accepts flaws and just moves on, which I appreciate.
Well, I think that he's happy that she has some secrets from him on a certain level, because it makes him feel not as bad about keeping certain things from her.
Certain things? You mean being a serial killer?
Yeah. I'm not even just that. Serial killer, your brother's Brian Moser, the ice truck killer. Yeah. On top of that, your brother, your father trained you to, become like a superhero pretty much. And yeah, there's a lot. And also my other favorite thing is Deborah and Anton's relationship. I just loved I didn't. Fuck, that was terrible. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. No, that was also just a wasted subplot.
I think that
best romantic story.
I really think that Anton is like a good guy for Deborah.
Yeah,
like he's just damaged enough
next season, huh?
and just wild enough that like he works for her, I guess.
Yeah.
My second favorite.
I don't know.
Matching and romantically.
Yeah, wait.
I would say
what was
like,
it first again? Was it?
You can guess what my favorite Deborah romance.
I'm assuming it rhymes with bin, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god! I just rewatched the I saw the guy you're talking about, his ass in season 5. Yeah, it was like they hold on to it for a while. Oh my god, we'll get.
You see a lot of man ass in this series, by the way, especially like. In a later season, there is like a close-up shot of Michael C. Hall's ass, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. For me, it's like I don't know. I really like the first episode actually, where they kind of just set things up. Although it does do one thing that I was really annoyed by, was like when he tries to kill Freebo, and then he has like that whole fight with Oscar and stuff, and then like his tooth gets knocked out, and it's like, oh, I thought that was really gonna go someplace, but it's immediately kind of swept away.
Yeah, he finds the tooth, and it's all cool.
Yeah, but I do love like the setup and everything, where like after he stabs him, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Who are you?" And then he's just like kind of freaks out, like, "Holy crap! I've never killed anyone like this before. Like this is like feels like a big deal for him, and it feels like the stakes are pretty high, although they're kind of not really." But that one, and then I think probably which is the one where Dexter kills the evidence lady, like the filing lady.
Camilla Fig. Camilla Fig.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a great. You know what? That's another thing. Yes, I do really love that scene where she was looking for the pie and stuff. Well, Margot Martindale.
Yeah. Character actress Margot Martindale.
She's great. She's great in this. We ever watched The Americans? She's fucking fantastic in that.
Leftovers.
Awesome. No, that's Ann Dowd.
What?
That's Ann Dowd. That's not Margot Martin. Oh my god.
Wait, she's not in the Leftovers?
Oh, you bit a bluey.
Dude, I could have sworn this whole time she was
no, that's Ann Dowd. You're talking about Patty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ann Dowd.
Fucking idiot.
Man, that's almost as bad as me thinking Little Chino was
that's
worse. That's worse, Miles.
Not remotely similar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ann Dowd, also great character actress. She was in Handmaid's Tale.
BoJack Horseman for Martin Martindale.
Yeah.
Character actress Margot Martindale.
Everybody should give Margot Martindale an Emmy.
That's
this
who
year.
should have been in Blue Bayou episode we were talking about.
Yes.
Like, that should have been
That's what I was saying.
The mom. Yeah. Ann Dowd should have been the what's it called? Justin Chan's mom. And
Oh, Ann Dowd should have?
Ann Dowd or Margot Martindale.
Yeah.
Either one. Those two.
They're both great character actresses.
Anyway.
They make everything that they're in good.
She wants the perfect slice of key lime pie.
Yeah, I like that. I like that she eventually reveals that she knew that Brian was his brother.
Yeah.
And
then he says it too at the end, like, I killed Brian Moser, right? I killed him. And she's like, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I maybe she had a hint the entire time. And that was great.
Well, I love that at the end she knew that there was poison in the key lime pie that she got at the end, and then she's like, "This is the perfect slice of key lime
It's like,
pie."
oh, thank God, I just want to die.
Yeah.
And
It's
it was
like,
and that
finally,
was-
I've
and
given
that
you
was
all
sad.
these
That was-
chances to
That
kill
was
me.
one of my favorite parts. Yeah, it's like, I mean, like I said, there is like a potential, what's it called, great follow up in there, but at with a lot of fluff and B storylines and. Okay, let's wrap it up. Anybody have final
One
thoughts?
last thing I want to talk about
Okay.
is Miguel's death scene, because that's one of my all-time favorites. I don't know. I
Wait,
really
I thought
like.
we did talk about that.
Well, then fuck you.
Let's
We
drink
did,
that.
we did.
Well, then fuck
Oh, we
you.
kind of touched it. Yeah.
We didn't really go into it.
Right.
I like it. I really like the whole setup.
You think this is
especially
the end between us? And then,
little freak. I don't know. I just like that whole scene. It's one of the ultimate Dexter kills, in my opinion. I love that, like, Miguel just wakes up and he's looking around. And he's like, fuck. And then I love that he's just like, no, man, no. And he's like, it doesn't have to come to this. And Dexter's just like, but it always does. And I don't know. I really like, it's one of my favorite Dexter exchanges in the whole series. Or like Miguel's like kind of pleading with him. And he's just like, Dexter, I accept you like you're my brother. And then Dexter's just like, I killed my brother. And then he looks down and thinks about it. I killed yours too. I like that because that's the ultimate, like, I don't know. It's this information Dexter didn't have to give him, right? It's almost like an extra little stab, and it's almost like it's like the nail in the coffin, right? It's just this ultimate moment of, it's almost Dexter kind of making it so he can't back out too, right? Like, before this moment, hypothetically, they could maybe in some crazy world work things out, but this is the ultimate nail in the coffin. He's putting all his cards on the table. I killed your brother. I didn't mean to, but I did. Goodbye, Miguel. And then, of course, Miguel unfortunately gets one of the most brutal Dexter kills, too.
Yeah.
I think strangulation is especially bad, probably.
And honestly, I think that's really good because that's something that you don't get to see from Dexter a lot of times when you really want to, especially like last season when, he's got Dokes held hostage and Dokes is going to die. I think I mentioned this on the last episode. It would have really been nice for Dexter to kind of come clean about, my brother was Brian Moser, kind of wrap up all the stuff that Dokes didn't know for him. Yeah.
They look like the same fucking person.
Anyways, I don't know. I think
It's a brief context to our audio only listeners is everybody. What's it called? Ron put up a picture of our Andow Mark Martindale next to Andow, and he's like, and he's
They
trying
look
to,
like the same fucking
I can
person.
tell you
man.
which one's which just by pointing at him.
Well, I mean, like when you look at them directly, but
how
like
dare you
fuck.
disrespect character actress Margot Martindale like that?
They're both great actresses. Okay.
Anyways, I don't know.
anyway,
I just like that scene a lot. I think it's one of Dexter's ultimate kills. I just
the
love it.
ultimate kill. All right, so
Well, then fuck you.
let's wrap this episode up.
You.
How would you guys rate season 3? Or are we gonna do
one last thing, I guess, is the only thing I like about Deborah's storyline is with Wendell.
Oh yeah,
No,
Yeah.
man.
No,
Yeah.
really, that poor kid, man.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, it's like, wow, they're really stretching this character. It's cool, and then it goes back to Anton. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like when they show his body too, and his face is all like winced up, like he's very clearly alive when it all happened.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this poor freaking kid. Oy.
and
And
that's
after
why
her
like
pulling a gun on a kid last season.
Yeah,
and then, and then, that's why I thought like the resolution with that storyline with the Skinner have Dexter killing it totally robs like the climax resolution for Dexter's story, like for Deborah's storyline with the Skinner.
because he had like
'Cause she's
no
the one.
connection to
Exactly.
this dude. Really,
She's
he had
the one that-
Nothing. Yeah, had zero personal stakes. Honestly, other than he was like hunting him at the end, but like Dexter didn't give a shit about him the whole time. Deborah was the one who was going after him the whole time, and he killed the kid. He tortured Anton. And it's like, and then now Dexter is the one that cleans up, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like they don't understand emotional stakes and stuff.
No,
Like that, you know what I mean? Okay, that's right. But that's pretty much it. Anybody else has anything you guys want to talk about?
9.
Yeah, anything?
I don't know. Like I said, I think Miguel Prado is one of my all-time favorite like special guest stars in the show.
Yeah,
I like him.
I guess the one thing I like about Quinn is Quinn's, when he was interviewing the fiance who murdered her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They show that he's a good
Yeah.
cop.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just also sketchy as fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So,
Starting off with Miles, what's your overall last thoughts and opinions?
and where would you rate this among the first 3 seasons?
And also your rating.
So this season, I think, was very strong in terms of character development. We've kind of gotten to the point where Dexter has overcome all of his past traumas and if not overcome, at least addressed most of his past traumas. So he's actually able to develop as a character now, and it's not just bringing up the past in order to develop who he is. So you get to see a lot more of him evolving, as he calls it, and becoming something different. I think that it's very strong with that. When I first watched this season, didn't really like Miguel Prado's character, but he's grown on me. This time when I've watched it, I really enjoyed what he brought to the table in terms of, being somebody for Dexter to try to be friends with, but unable to, help to realize, hey, being friends with somebody is not really a good idea for me. But overall, I would say that this is probably the strongest of the first 3 seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, really? Oh,
Yeah.
more than season 2.
I enjoyed
More than
season 1. I enjoyed season 1 more than I enjoyed this season. But in terms of developing characters and knowing who your characters are, I think that this one really was stronger with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially with Deborah and Anton.
Yeah.
And Deborah just like, what's it called?
No,
and,
I think that Deborah's...
and on Angel with Barbara, and then like his character just saying the same. And it's, the only thing that I think they did well and they did justice to the character is C.S. Lee is Vince Masuka.
I'm disappointed there's no
No,
developments on Batista's love for double meats.
Yeah. Who cares? I honestly,
All
if he
right,
was a
let's
double meat, whatever.
Give Miles have his.
2 double
Yeah.
meats?
Wait, so what's your rating?
So I would say that this one, I would stream it with ads, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
Like in our streaming thing, stream with ads is like the bottom, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
never
it's
mind.
streaming-
I would stream it on premium services then.
Okay. Okay. I was like, it's like you said it's better than your season 2, but then you gave it a lower rating.
Okay, wait. All I'm gonna say, okay, what I mean by that is the reason why I thought streaming with ads is higher is because it's more of a hassle and an effort to have to watch streaming.
Yeah,
ads.
that's
So I-
exactly right.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
think about
I
it.
would
It's
put up
it's
the with
no,
the ads
because
in
if
order
you
to watch
no,
it,
but that
is
doesn't
what
make
I was
sense
saying.
because if you pay for the service, that
Yeah.
means you're taking a direct cost and it's more expensive for you.
Yeah.
And you're taking more of an effort to actually watch it, right?
Yeah,
And if it's
I
streaming
guess
with
you're
ads,
right.
it's usually
Yeah.
just free and you don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
I hate watching things with ads. I hate it. You know what I mean? No, that Hulu shit with ads, fuck that shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, so
Yeah.
where would you put
what about
this?
you?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I'll definitely rank it as the lowest of the first 3 seasons. It's got some good stuff in it. I like that. Yeah, like Dexter kind of moved past a lot of his past and everything, but he does focus more on like the present. And now he's trying to be the father. He's trying to be a husband, and he's trying to have a friend. And only one of those things, 2 of those things work out for him really. But I liked it. It's good. Yeah, Miguel Prado grew on me more. I liked most of the setup. Quinn I liked more this season than I did the first time I watched him. But overall, I'd give it streaming with ads. Honestly, yeah.
What about you, Blake?
It's not my favorite of the first 4, but I do like it a lot. I think that it falls short just a tiny bit, and as I've said before, I think it's the fact that the Skinner is just kind of... I see it as a cynical view that
yeah.
the Skinner was brought in later in the production. I don't know if this is true. They didn't invite me to the writing room for some reason. I just have the cynical view that they needed a villain, so they threw in the Skinner kind of half-assed, and...
I mean, it's possible. They also probably might have just put him there to be Deborah's antagonist.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that he wasn't entirely needed. I think that Miguel Prado is enough on his own. He's an
Yeah, I agree.
unconventional villain that isn't really the villain until the end. But I like that.
Yeah.
But overall, I think I like it a lot. I like a lot of Dexter's story. I like Miguel Prado a lot. I like a lot of what's going on. So I would say this goes very high on my shelf, even though it's not perfect.
Oh, so this is your only so far.
So
Not
far,
in the
it's-
museum.
Yes,
So this is your least favorite of the 3.
I just said that.
Okay, I know. I'm just like double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Just
feel
want to
like
double check.
I'm,
Least favorite.
And
of the
when I
3.
put Dexter,
not in the museum,
and
right?
I should
Are you
mention
sure?
this, and I should mention this. I don't want this to be my view of the museum. I'm very frugal with what I put on the museum. Dexter, it's like I've said every fucking week. I know this show has a lot of flaws, and even the good seasons aren't that good. But I saw Dexter, right place, right time. Dexter is one of my favorite characters of all time, but because I saw it at the right time, if that makes sense.
Right.
What do you think, Phil?
What's it called?
Thunder Phillip.
Okay. Look, I know what's it called. I know what's it called? I mentioned before, constantly shit on the show and all this stuff because deservedly. But the thing is, with this season, breaks my heart the most because this is like probably one of so far, like if you're chronicling our Dexter journey, had the potential to be the only season so far that would have been on the shelf for me. Like, but then what's it called? Potentially. I mean, season 2 actually also probably, but that had a lot of fluff. But this one, like, I was really interested in Miguel Prado. As a character, how he brings out different types of things and highlights certain themes of fatherhood, trust, etc. And but they had a lot of fluff. It's like 6 episodes too long, or maybe 3 or 4. Maybe I'm harsh about that. A lot of B storylines, like every character kind of just falls flat. As a result, sadly, it had the potential to be my first on the shelf, but now I would say this is bargain bin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, you really don't like this, do you?
This is my second time watching this series, and what's it called? I never thought I'd watch it again.
87th.
Exactly. I don't know how you do
I
it.
have seen every season at least 5 times or more.
That's
Damn.
because you only have 2 TV shows that you watch. This and Lost.
BoJack. No,
BoJack
BoJack
Horseman.
Horseman is my
3.
all-time
Sorry.
favorite show.
That's the only show I agree with Blake is being fantastic.
Yeah, no,
Alright,
it's
guys.
actually good. Wait, one last comment. Sylvia Prado, we'll see you again.
Okay.
It's really done. She's in another episode.
I
and it's,
didn't even remember her coming back.
oh, that's because it's pointless.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think this wraps up our Dexter season 3 episode. What did you guys think of season 3? Where would you rank it amongst the first 3 seasons of Dexter? And yeah, let us know.
Yeah, make sure to
Clyde.
like, comment, subscribe, and go on social media and rant about how stupid we are.
Clyde.
All the engagement
Phillip?
helps.
No.
Clyde Phillip.
The only reason why I give the show a chance. Yeah, because he has a good last name. So.
Clyde Phillip.
Okay, thank you guys for listening.
Clyde
We'll see you guys next week.
Phillip.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Clyde.
Phillip.